So, what could a windy beach back in 1903 possibly have to do with your great idea falling flat today? Well, it turns out a lot more than you think. We're about to dig into a blueprint for launching ideas that was literally forged in one of the greatest moments in human history. You know that feeling, right? You've poured months, maybe even years of your life into a project, a book, a new business. You've given it everything you've got. You finally hit publish, you click launch, and then crickets. It's just silence. And it's this super frustrating feeling, right? It's so common for creators. But what if the problem isn't what you think it is? And this is the key. We are so quick to blame the idea itself when the real problem, the actual villain of the story, is the system, or, the lack of one, that's supposed to get it off the ground. A great idea without a great launch system, that's just a wish that's never going to leave the ground. So, to fix this very modern problem, we're going to jump in a time machine. We're heading back to Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, where two brothers were about to change everything. Not by dreaming harder, but by focusing on this system. Okay, let's dive in. Let's really pull back the curtain on the secret of that very first flight. Because what the Wright brothers figured out isn't just a cool history lesson. It is a timeless blueprint for how you engineer the impossible. I mean, just picture it for a second. It's December 17th, 1903. It's freezing cold, and the wind is just howling at 27 miles per hour. By any sane measure, this is the worst possible weather for a test flight. But the Wright brothers, they weren't waiting for the perfect day. They were there to work their system. And check this out, because this is where it gets really cool. That very first flight, it only lasted 12 seconds, barely got off the ground. But by the end of that same day, they were flying for almost a full minute, and they covered over 850 feet. This wasn't some lucky shot in the dark. This was iteration in real time. That's a system at work. And this is the big secret. This is what separated them from everyone else. See, all their rivals were busy building these massive, powerful engines, just hoping to brute force their way into the sky. But the Wrights, they were obsessed with something totally different: control. They knew that power without control doesn't lead to flight, it leads to a spectacular crash. So they basically boiled the whole problem down to these three things. You need structure, the wings, to create lift. You need power, the engine, to create thrust. And, the crucial one, you need control. And control only comes from one thing: relentless testing and learning from all your failures. And that is the light bulb moment. Anybody could dream about flying, but the Wrights, they built a system that made flying a reliable, repeatable reality. And that system, that same thinking, is exactly what we can use for our ideas today. All right, so let's get to it. Let's take that 1903 blueprint and turn it into something we can actually use. Let's call it the Wright Flight Framework, a super practical guide for anyone trying to launch something new today. Okay, so here it is, all laid out. It's actually pretty simple when you see it like this. Just like their plane needed wings, an engine, and tons of testing, your big idea needs structure, power, and control. So your structure, those are your wings, your main content pillars. Your power, that's your engine, the delivery system that keeps things moving. And your control, that comes from testing your ideas out before you bet the whole farm on them. Look, a framework is great, but it's just a picture on a slide unless we know how to actually build the thing. So let's get our hands dirty. Let's talk about how you actually engineer your launch system, piece by piece. All right, first up, structure. These are your wings. Think of your 3 to 5 core topics, your main themes, as the actual wings of your project. They're not just random posts. They give your entire message a recognizable shape. It's what lets your audience grab on and actually feel the lift. So what does that actually look like? Well, if you're a business author, maybe your pillars are strategy, leadership, and productivity. For a wellness writer, it could be nutrition, movement, and mindset. Even a fiction author can have these, like character development, world building, and plot. See, these pillars make your message really consistent and strong. Okay, you've got wings. Now you need power. You need an engine. And this isn't about just shotting your idea from the rooftops one time. No, this is the system that provides consistent thrust, the thing that keeps pushing your idea forward long after that initial launch excitement has faded away. And this doesn't have to be some crazy complicated thing. Your engine could be something as simple as an automated email sequence that welcomes new people, or a handy little software tool like a calculator or a template. It could even be a podcast or a video series. The goal is to build something that keeps working for your audience, even when you're not, creating that sustained momentum. And I just love this little detail. 12. The engine that literally changed the course of human history had only 12 horsepower. That's less than a modern lawnmower. It's such a fantastic reminder that your engine doesn't have to be massive, it just has to work. Start small. And finally, oh man, this is the one everybody skips, and it's maybe the most important. Control. The Wright brothers did over 1,000 glider test flights before they ever strapped an engine on. 1,000. They tested, they crashed, they refined, they tested again. That is how they earned control. So how do we run test flights? Well, it's not as scary as it sounds. It looks like publishing articles to see what topics people actually care about. It looks like running a small workshop before you build a massive course. Every single piece of feedback, every comment, every survey response, that's data. That's what helps you steer. All right, so let's put it all together. Let's get your idea airborne. The real goal here is to make a fundamental shift in how you think. To go from just having a good idea, a wish that's stuck on the ground, to consciously engineering a system that's designed for success. If you remember one thing from all this, let it be this: ideas don't fly. Engineered systems do. So let's stop romanticizing the brilliant idea and start respecting the well-built system. Because the most beautiful words in the world will just sit on the ground if they don't have wings, an engine, and controls. Okay, so here it is, your pre-flight checklist, your action plan. Step 1, define your wings. Pick those 3 to 5 content pillars. Step 2, build a small, reliable engine. Choose one delivery system to start. Step 3, run your test flights. Publish content, get it out there, gather data. Then, step 4 is to measure the lift by tracking engagement, and step 5 is to use that feedback to refine your controls. It's not a one-time launch, it's a continuous process of flight. And that really leaves us with one final question. It's a choice every single one of us has to make. Are you just going to write a manuscript and hope that magic happens? Or are you going to be an engineer? Are you going to build a machine that is designed from the ground up to soar? The choice is yours.